Vito, I know you're listening. I love you.
We're here. Shoulda came alone.
Well, the night can only get better.
I'm about to feel real good.
Somebody told me Elvis was here.
Hello everyone! Welcome back to Let's Play Mode. We're continuing on where we left off. We have a dome. We've used it once so far, on Vito Brevis himself, and we got an interesting experience, though we don't really know what any of that was about. So we're continuing on at this party. We haven't gotten out here in a little while. Get some fresh air, get away from all the noise at the jumping party, but there's still nothing else out here, nothing we can do. Still, that is a room that we haven't actually done anything with yet, so maybe we should keep that in mind. Vito, of course, is gone now. We had our conversation with him. Okay, Charity. We talked to her at the beginning of the game, but really did not say too much to her, especially this time around. Let's see if anything's different now.
Hi, I'm so glad you found me. Listen, I happen to have a few minutes before I have to get back to the grind, so we can actually chat a bit. It's funny, you know, I sometimes complain about being stuck in this whole fashion ghetto thing, as opposed to, you know, getting the hot and gritty stuff. Political pieces, the crime stuff, the stuff that makes a difference. But I have to say, it's not so bad. Being surrounded by the models and the artists, and did I mention the models?
We remember this. The first time we went through the mode event and we got to this conversation with Charity, this was the first time we found out a hint about Vito having some kind of cult. Though we really didn't know anything at all about it at the time, I'm still not sure if we do. But now that we have had that experience with Vito, maybe this conversation might be a little bit different. The chat was green about continuing to talk with Charity, trying to be positive, because we wanted to try to tell her what we found out, if there is a way of doing that. But before we do that, I should probably mention the IRC bot that we were using during this mode event, which I haven't mentioned yet. It was called OddMe, and was scripted together by Suspicious Dish, so thank you for that. That was really essential in conducting this mode event, in that there were way too many votes to actually count by hand this time. So we had an automated bot that did it for us. It was quite disturbing to find out, previously when talking with Vito, that OddMe was actually the dark god of techno-fetishism. So we had a special guest in the chat as well as a helpful bot. It's amazing the people you'll meet. We went with green to talk with Charity.
I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. Tell me something. Do you know anything about this cult of Vito's?
Okay, this time, the chat was very green about this. They wanted to say, yes, we know all about this cult. We know so much about it. In fact, we saw something beyond human comprehension, I think. So yes, green is the answer. Yes, we know all about this cult. We know all about Vito being the priest of the dark god. We'll say yes.
Yes? And have you talked to him?
We did more than that. We had so much interaction with Vito, I don't think you can even describe it in human terms. So the chat, again, very much wanted to say, yes, we have spoken to him and more.
Yes, and? Did he mention the cult?
Okay, so this time Charity is not asking us about the cult, because since we've spoken with Vito, maybe we already know. Maybe we have the information she needs. And again, the chat really wanted to let her know about what we found out, even though we might not actually be sure about what we found out. But we went with green.
I am very excited. This could be it for me. I've been waiting for something like this for so long. Okay, go. Go. Let's hear it.
All right. Charity is ready to go. She's ready to listen, to hear what we've discovered at the Mode event while working for the cop. Though maybe we don't want to mention the cop. Maybe we want to keep that on the down low. Maybe that's not appropriate. But talking about our shared vision experience with Vito, probably appropriate. So the chat decided that yes, we're going to tell Charity everything that we found out.
Oh, goody. I am tingling. I've got goosebumps. Well?
All right. I mean, apparently we're just teasing her at this point, I guess. Because we keep clicking green. Apparently we haven't told her what's been happening yet. But yeah, the chat's still very enthusiastic, very positive. We want to let her know. Gotta let someone know. We haven't been able to talk to the cop yet. Gotta let someone know about what's been going on here tonight, so we go with green.
That's it? That's it? That's what you've been holding out on me with? Ah, great. Great, thanks.
Charity is not impressed. I don't know if it's that our information was not what she was looking for, or maybe she just doesn't believe us. Maybe we told Charity that we had some sort of shared telepathic soul experience with Vito, in which we went to the other world and saw his true form. Maybe we shouldn't have told her that. I mean, that does sound kind of unbelievable. Or maybe she does believe us, and maybe that just wasn't actually what she wanted to know. If that's the case, what does she want to know? I mean, she wanted to know about Vito's cult, and I think Vito admitting that he is the priest Meadow serving Oddme, I think that's pretty relevant. The chat was upset. I mean, she's insulting the information we've gathered. She's insulting the experiences we've had at this eventful party. So we were going to go with red and maybe give her a little bit of attitude about her dismissal of what we have to offer. So,
Tell me about yourself.
Okay, I guess she just figures we have nothing to tell her. That we are not useful, I guess. Because she's changing the conversation. It sounds like she's just being polite, asking us to tell her about us being 400 people in one mind. The chat decided to go green and continue the polite conversation. See if it goes anywhere else. Now that's just rude. You know, she's obviously not listening to us. She's looking around the party, seeing if there's anything else that seems more interesting. Why are we even talking to her still? Obviously, she is not interested in anything we have to say. And the chat did not like that. So, we went with red. Maybe we should let her know. Let her know she's hurting our feelings. The feelings of 400 people stuck in some kind of demigod. I'm not sure what it is we're telling her at this point. That's either boredom or some kind of revulsion that's on her face. Could go either way. But the chat decided that since she was keeping quiet, she wasn't saying anything, maybe we should do the same. Maybe we'll go with blue and just have a stare-off with Charity. She's good. We're just sort of just staring at each other, not saying anything. Doesn't look like she's breaking. The chat decided that this was not going to go anywhere. I mean, it seemed kind of interesting at first when we actually had someone who was interested in hearing what we've been doing and to talk about Vito's cult. That's what we want to talk about. But this did not go anywhere. Her loss, right? She's here for that story. We can give her that story. I don't feel bad for her at all. So the chat decided that we were going to leave Charity twisting in the wind. All right. So, no one here. And then we enter Disc 3. We are beginning to enter the end of the current mode event. Things have gone differently so far, and maybe things will continue to end up differently than how they did before. We'll find out once we start Disc 3, so one moment. Welcome back, everyone. Well, I shouldn't say welcome back, you've been here the whole time, haven't you? But I just cut that piece out of me changing the discs. This is the couch where Mia was, and she's not here anymore. Now someone who, I don't know if they're just tired of all of this excitement that's been happening at the mode event, or maybe he's just strung out on something. It's hard to say. Could go either way with the people who are attending the mode event. Still no one here at the stretcher chair. And Charity is gone. I guess she's decided that she still needs to keep investigating this whole cult thing, see how that turns out for her. But it doesn't look like she's had any leads at all. I think we were her last hope, and, well, she wasn't interested, so whatever. And in front of us is someone who we know, someone who gave us the dome, Rial. It's hard, again, still hard to say if Rial is someone we should call a friend. Vito did warn us against getting too close to him, but what are we going to do? Of course we have to talk to him. He's one of the most interesting people here.
Ah, so there you are. Still on your quest. So, what have you learned? How have you changed? Who have you changed? Shall we pick up where we left off?
This conversation makes more sense this time, because we actually had a real conversation with him before when he gave us the dome. So, as opposed to the first mode event where we got this same video clip after not actually talking to him at all, this makes a bit more sense. We know Rial now. We have a little bit of an idea of who he is, and he has a bit of an idea of who we are. So let's continue on speaking with him and maybe continue on our battle of wits. Let's say green.
Then you don't know me at all. I sure as hell don't know you. Why would I trust you? Should I?
I believe this is the same conversation that we had last time, too. Us getting a dome from him did not change this. He still wants to know if we're trustworthy. And the chat decided that we were going to give him some attitude, we were going to give him some red for doubting us. I thought we were bros now, Rial.
Now we're getting somewhere. You know, I had a brother once. Tried to kill me. And the funny thing is, I never stopped loving him. Even when I tried killing him right back. Never trusted the bastard. But I did love him. Took him 3 days to die. And then there's you, looking for some changes.
Yeah, I am looking for some changes, Rial. And I believe for those who are counting, that's 3 people who we now remind of dead friends, or in Rial's case, a brother. We seem to share a lot in common with corpses. The chat wasn't quite sure how to react to yet another person mentioning that he reminds us of someone who's dead. I believe, though, this is the first time that the person has said that the dead person we remind him of, was someone who he killed himself. So maybe we should watch our step around Rial. Maybe it's a test. The chat decided that we were going to go blue and not give him much to go on.
In Brazil, they have a story about death. And how he came to a young man's door and said, "Let me in. I want you to love me." And the young man said, "No, never. You're death. You can't come in. I will never love you." He did. Do you understand?
No. Pretty sure I don't. I don't think we've met Death yet. Though that bit with Vito kind of came close. Or maybe Real's saying he's Death? I'm not sure who Death is here, but I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be the guy in the cottage. Or maybe accepting the dome was accepting Death? Hard to say. The chat was a bit confused and wanted to tell the truth. No, Real, we have no idea what you're talking about. So we went with Red.
Maybe you can help me with something. Do you know this guy?
And this is where things started to pick up for the chat. Started to panic a little bit. Because, yeah, we know him. We know he's a cop. We know that we're working for him as an undercover agent. We know Real is a criminal. So what should we say? I mean, we've been playing both sides, you know? We're saying we're working for the cop, but we've been trying to get all buddy-buddy with Real. You've been having shared visions with Vito, so whose side are we on? The chat was torn on what to do. This was a big decision. Bigger than talking to the fortune teller and trying to get her to say something interesting. The chat felt that we might not want to lie to Real because he seems to have a way of figuring people out. And who knows what our facial expression looked like when he showed us the cop. So we went with Green. We decided we were going to be honest, at least for now, with Real, and tell him that, yeah, we know him.
Tell me. Maybe you know. Is he a cop?
And the chat became a lot more excited, much more panic. Because now, I mean, saying we know him is one thing. Admitting he's a cop? Selling him out? For what? To Real? Is that really what we should do? Still, at the same time, we know Real's dangerous, and he might know if we're lying? So which way should we go? The chat was very torn about this. I mean, this might have been the most disputed choice of the mode event. Is he a cop? Do we tell Real this? The chat eventually decided that we were going to tell him. They weren't quite ready to lie to Real. And it's not necessarily going to be the case that things go bad for our cop friend if Real knows. Right? He wouldn't try anything in the middle of the party, would he? So we went with Green.
Is he here for me?
The chat felt that maybe we could give Real a little white lie this time. Technically, the cop's here for Vito, right? Real is with Vito, and the cop did mention Real, but the cop primarily said he was here for Vito. So if we say no, is that really a lie? Maybe, maybe not. But the chat eventually did decide that we weren't quite all the way a traitor to our cop friend. So we went with Red and said, no, he's not here for you, Real.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. Also interesting, Real's reaction. What does that even mean? Who can say? He looks like he's trying to read us. He's looking right at us, not looking at his computer anymore. Probably wondering if he can trust us. He did say before that he thinks that we might be his enemy, back in our first conversation. Does he still think that now? The chat decided that we weren't going to give anything away at this important juncture. So we were going to give him some blue right back.
Okay. I guess I'll wander over and check it out. Why don't you come along?
And now, we have a dilemma. Rial is going to walk over to the cop, see what's going on. He wants us to come with him. So now we're forced into a decision. We have been pretending to be Rial's friend. At the same time, we've been working for the cops. So which way do we really go? Rial's now forcing this decision. The chat did decide that they wanted to go with Rial, so they went with green on that. But there was another decision that they had to make. You see, once we decide to go green on this and walk over to the cop, there's going to be a cutscene, and we have to make a decision in the middle of that cutscene who we're going to help. Do we help the cop? Do we help Rial? Or do we do nothing? So we had 3 choices, and we had to make the decision now because there was not going to be enough time to make it during the cutscene. There was a lot of debate about this, but the chat eventually decided that we were going to do what was right, what was honorable, and we were going to help the cop if it came to it against Rial. So what does that mean that we're going to help him? Well, the chat did not really know at the point where we made that decision. So let's find out. Let's walk over with Rial to the cop and see what might happen.
Good. Let's go. Yo, bro. Got a problem with the machine?
No, this is interesting.
Could be a malfunction.
No, this is good. This is very, very good.
As good as her? Bad mistake!
And things did not turn out well for us or the cop. When we enter that scene, we have the option of using the dome, and when that fight between the cop and Rial broke out, we had the option of zapping one of them with the dome. Since the chat decided that we were going to help the cop, that meant we zapped Rial in an attempt to stun him, or whatever it is the dome does. It had no effect on him. Rial did say in our first conversation that it wouldn't work on him. He said something like that. And he also said that if he used it on us, it could kill us. And we do have a black screen right now. Nothing we click on seems to work, except we can click on Go on the sides. And if we do that, the party's empty. We've seen the empty party once before. It was after our tryst with the storyteller. We woke up after the party and no one was there. And it appears that's what's happened this time. During the stream, I thought that was going to kill us, so I was a bit confused when we woke up at an empty party. It seems, though, after doing it again, I guess Rial zapping us with the dome did not actually kill us, it just knocked us out. And I guess we were just lying there until the party ended. Either way, things did go bad for the cop. And also, for the 3rd time, the 3rd mode event, we missed Vito's final performance, because the party's over. So, once again, good job to the chat. We have not seen Vito's performance after, 3 mode events, but the second one was very short. It was very short. No one on the stage, no acts coming out to entertain us. We can look at the wall.
Brevis has steadfastly refused all requests for an interview, but has magnanimously allowed our camera to record his performance, which, if previous years are any indication, could very well prove to be the biggest surprise in an evening full of surprises. Let's watch.
We saw that last time. No change there. We still don't know what Vito's final performance was. We don't know how the party ended. And we don't know what happened to the cop. Things did not look good for him at the end there. So what happened, who can say? But that is how the third mode event ended. The first mode event ended with us having a tryst with the storyteller and missing the end of the party. The second mode event ended with us getting thrown out by Tuba very early on. And the third mode event ended with us getting knocked out by Rial via dome, and again, missing the end of the party. Will we ever actually see the end of this party? Will we see what Vito's final performance is? I hope so. But that's the end of this mode event. And that means, once again, it's time for a mode stream, where once again a number of people will be getting together to guide our party crasher throughout the twists and turns of the mode event to whatever goal we might have. What's our goal next time? Will our goal be to see Vito's final performance? Will our goal be to get a dome as soon as possible? Will our goal be to try to get a different resolution to that conflict between Rial and the cop? Well, I guess we'll find out when it happens. But it's not happening right now because this is the end of the third mode event. Before we do the next mode event, however, maybe we should take a look at something. We haven't taken a look at the cast yet. This is deliberate, by the way. When we started the mode event, I wanted everyone to be a complete stranger, to not know anything about anyone. I thought it came off better that way. But the game does give you the option of finding out about these people. Here's Charity's bio. See, if we were to read this right away, it would tell us that she's looking to get the dirt on a scandal about Vito. The MC of the stage event's Killer Clown. Not much known about him, really. The fortune teller, Shiva. Really, our conversations with her did not lead anywhere. And the cop. Okay, we find out his name, Jack Nietzsche. We find out that he took the initiative to present this to superior officers to try to nail Vito. Also, we see that he says Rial is suspected of large-scale drug smuggling. We don't know too much about Rial's crimes, but it does seem that is kind of the bigger one here, instead of Vito being in a cult. So maybe Rial was the main person that Jack was here for. Here's Vito. Vito started off as a teacher. It's kind of hard to imagine. Public schools? Or university? Hey, he's gone somewhat insane. Maybe just a little. The performer that we never found out her name. Her name's Bella. It says that we can't actually be mean to her because she doesn't believe in it. That's an interesting outlook. The manager's name, Solomon. As it says, he doesn't much like anything about Vito or this event. But it's a job, and he does his job well. Ed is the only, well, maybe not the only one, but we have not been able to really talk much to Ed. We have not been able to get in there, really. As it says, he did design the dome, he knows how it works, so if we can get closer to him and find out more information, that seems like that would be very useful. The performers who we've been seeing perform throughout the night. Rial Ataychek, finding out his last name. It's quite a history. Yeah, we tried to fool him. We were doing okay. But things did not work out well when we showed our true alliance. though we survived, we didn't die. Oh, it's Computer Lady. Her name is Lady Mode. As it says, she is actually a real person by the name of Holly, who tends the bar at the club. Holly is not actually in this game. When it says that she tends bar, they mean in club mode. And you would see her if you watch the advertisement for club mode. But in the actual game mode, she is not actually in this. Mia. We still don't know what it is she wanted in the sauna, though I think we probably have a better idea now. The storyteller, his name's Hercule Dynast, I guess that's how you pronounce that. Yeah, we know all about what Hercule likes. We found out a lot about that. And Tuba. We know Tuba the least of all, because we only see him when he throws us out. And as it says, Tuba just wants love, not war. But he does what he's paid to do. So maybe knowing the bios of the characters at Mode might help the next stream. Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe fill out our knowledge of these people and what they're doing. Maybe a little. But that's it for right now. That's it for the third Mode event. As I said, next time, it'll be time for another stream in which we'll enter the fourth Mode event and see how things change. But for right now, have a good night.
This concludes Mode.